God's Crime Scene is a 7-day reading plan based on the book of the same name by J. Warner Wallace. In this plan, he begins by describing detectives coming to a crime scene and seeing a dead body. They examine the evidence they can find in that location, in that room, to determine whether or not that person had died from natural causes or because of homicide. In a similar manner, he then calls us to think about the universe as a room, you could say, where we can look at the evidence in the room to see if it makes sense that the universe be created by a divine designer or if it was brought to be by other natural causes. I thought the premise was quite interesting and something I was excited to read, but by the end of the second day I was actually a bit bored. I had read a couple of devotionals here and I had read about 5 verses between the 2 days. And I thought that the connections between the devotionals and the scripture verses was actually a bit weak. Thankfully, the reading plan does improve by the 4th day, where Mr. Wallace asks the question, was the universe fine-tuned? On this particular day, he provides illustrations to show the exactitude of universal constants. He speaks of stretching a measuring tape across the entire known universe, and then calling us to imagine one particular mark on that tape, representing the correct degree of gravitational force required to create the universe we have. Another example, trying to fire a bullet at a 1-inch target on the other side of the observable universe. The accuracy required to accomplish such a feat has been calculated as roughly the precision required in calibrating the mass density of the universe. I thought these things were quite interesting, even though I'd already seen this kind of material before. It was something that I benefited from to be reminded of again. This interest continued to the conclusion of the 7th day. Looking back, though, I cannot recommend this reading plan wholeheartedly. I cannot deny that the first couple of days were actually a bit boring, and also the connection between some of the scripture verses and the devotional text was a bit weak at times. I did get value from the reading plan, and I did like the premise, but I was again a little bit disappointed. As such, if you want to read it, go right ahead. If you want to read it because you're interested in what the book has to say, just in part, then maybe it'd be good to read. But if you're sitting on the fence concerning this plan and you're trying to decide between reading this one or reading another one, I'd say if you pass on it, you're not missing too much. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and have a nice day.